Hey everybody, this is Mr. Morrell, and we are going to talk about correlation coefficients today. Now, correlation coefficients can be very confusing for students, but I'm really hoping to help you out here a little bit. So, a correlation coefficient is... Oh, hey, look, I forgot that I wrote it. It is a way of describing the strength of a relationship between points on a scattered plot. So when you look at, it's basically going to be a single number, but if you are smart enough, you can look at that single number and know a lot about the data that would be shown on that scatter plot. For example, that number is going to tell us whether the dots on the scatter plot are going upwards or downwards. And not only that, it's going to tell us kind of if the dots are falling into a perfect line or if they're super duper scattered all over the place. And that's all going to happen just by looking at a singular number. So what we need to do here is, what you'll see is this. We've got a number line. Correlation coefficients are always between -1 and +1. And depending on what that number is, we're going to learn different information. So up here, we're going to see some information given to us, and down here we'll see some other information given to us. So let's just go ahead and label it so that I can stop talking in circles. Notice we got kind of this bar right here that's showing all the negative numbers. If you see a negative number, correlation coefficient, you know that the relationship being looked at is negative, meaning the dots have a downward pattern. If you see a correlation coefficient that's a positive number, it's a positive relationship, meaning that the dots are going in an upwards pattern. Now, I'm going to kind of start in the middle and work my way outwards, and there's a reason for that. If your correlation coefficient is at 0, we're going to say that there is no correlation. If your correlation is kind of not at 0 exactly, but between 0 and 0.2, for example, we're going to say that that is very weak. You're going to notice this is kind of symmetrical on both sides. So whether it's positive over here or negative, that's going to be very weak. Okay? Now we can kind of keep moving out. If you're between -0.2 and -0.4, we're going to say that that's like a weak correlation. Again, you kind of notice there's some symmetry going on. Then we've got moderate, and that's going to be moderate over here. After moderate is going to be strong, and then you've got very strong. Okay, so again, just what we'll normally do, and you'll see an example of this in a second, is you would find your correlation coefficient on this number line, and that's going to tell you two different words you can use to describe it for the most part. So let's take a look here. Question 2. We have a 0.71 correlation. So I'm going to find 0.71 on my number line. It's about right here. Oops, about right here. And then you kind of want to look at the word that describes it above and below. So we know that this is a positive and strong relationship. Alright, now let's look at number 4. Number 4 has -9.3. So -9.3 is about right here. Well, from that, we know that the correlation is negative and very, I'm writing that on the wrong line, sorry, is negative and very strong. Look at how those dots are kind of falling into this perfect line. There's a very strong relationship happening there, and it's going downwards, so we know that it's negative. Alright, let's go. Oh yeah, level 2 continued on the other side. Let's keep going. Question 6. Let's see, 0.12. So if I were to look at that on the number line, 0.12 is going to be about right here-ish. So that looks like it's positive and very weak. like that. All right, number 8. Ooh, a perfect 1. Okay, a perfect 1 is going to be all the way right here. Well, that is positive and very strong for sure. In fact, it's like perfect. Okay, level 3 is a little bit deeper. You need to kind of look at the pictures, and using the pictures, try to decide about how strong you think everything is. And you can use the pictures on your little handout. I believe everybody, excuse me, got a handout to figure that kind of stuff out. But let's do question, let's do 13 together. So the first thing you're going to want to do on all of these questions is, first of all, establish is a positive, negative, or no correlation. From there, you kind of want to estimate its strength just by looking at it. So for me, if I'm looking at this, I can see that the dots are kind of going downward. So I'm going to say that they're negative. Okay, it's kind of going downward, and the reason why I think that is because we kind of got these lines that we could kind of draw to hold the data into place, kind of a thing. And then notice that the dots are, even though they're kind of going down, they're also very, very scattered. So, I mean, I would take the answer either very weak or weak for this question here. I believe that I did very weak on my answer key, so I'm going to stick with that. But I could understand an argument for saying that it's very weak. Okay? Alright, so now, that's how you do level 3. Level 4 is you're going to create a scatter plot. It says to draw exactly 10 points, and you want to have a scatter plot that matches these correlation coefficients exactly. So you got to really demonstrate your understanding of what those correlation coefficients are telling you. All right, good luck. I hope you guys have a great day.